Sister wives, inside Mykelti Brown and Tony Padron's tornado scare during their cross-country relocation. When Sister Wives audiences tuned into the October 5th episode, they expected the usual blend of family tension, logistical chaos, and the occasional awkward travel moment that comes with following the enormous, scattered Brown family. What they got instead was something far more intense, an unfolding natural disaster, raw and unfiltered. Mykelti Brown and her husband, Tony Padron, found themselves driving directly into a dangerous storm system that rapidly evolved into a tornado threat. Captured in real time on their phones, hail pounding the windscreen, wind whipping around the car, frantic radio alerts blaring, the moment was one of the most gripping scenes the show has aired in years. And behind that moment lay far more, an emotional cross-country move, shifting family alliances, a complicated relationship with patriarch Kody Brown, and a much bigger life transition than the couple initially let on. This deep dive takes you inside the full story, what happened, why it happened, how the Brown family reacted, and what this tornado moment really reveals about Sister Wives' ever-evolving dynamics. 1. A move fueled by purpose, why Mykelti and Tony left Utah. Before the hail, the screaming weather alerts, and the increasingly dented windows, there was a simple decision: Mykelti and Tony wanted a fresh start. But as is always the case in the Brown universe, simple is never basic. 1.1 Tony's chess ambition. One of the most surprising layers to the move is Tony Padron's career shift. After stepping back from traditional 9-to-5 work to re-evaluate his long-term goals, Tony decided to focus seriously on chess, yes, competitive chess, as a full-time pursuit. North Carolina, with its strong local clubs, tournaments, and thriving chess community, offered a more supportive environment. This wasn't just a hobby, Tony wanted to build something. Local tournaments, teaching opportunities, community events, North Carolina provided a path Utah couldn't. 1.2 Staying close to Maddie Brush. Another major motivator was family proximity, though not in the way that old-school polygamist patterns might suggest. Janelle Brown's daughter Maddie lives in North Carolina with her husband, Caleb Brush, and their 4 children. The Brush family had recently purchased a large farm with plans to build multiple homes, Janelle included. For Mykelti, raising children near cousins and a trusted branch of the family was deeply appealing. She and Maddie have always shared a sisterly bond that transcended the messy politics between their mothers. North Carolina offered stability, friendship, and a more grounded family environment for Avalon, Archer, and Ace, the 3 young Padron kids. 1.3 Distance from Kody Brown and plural marriage fallout. Christine Brown, never one to hold back her thoughts, also suggested another layer: emotional distance. Ever since Christine's departure from the plural marriage, the family has splintered. Mykelti, who grew up in the eye of the storm, watching her mother silently absorb decades of pain, jealousy, and marital imbalance, has grown increasingly protective of her own mental and emotional wellness. Moving across the country provided a clean slate. New state. The move brought with it new family dynamics. A new identity emerges, distinct from Kody's shadow. Christine described it best on the episode: "I think this move is also Mykelti saying, I get to choose my world now." 2. The storm that changed the trip, driving straight into chaos. What makes the tornado threat sequence so compelling is that it unfolds with the kind of immediacy reality TV rarely gets. There is no music overlay. There is also no dramatic narration. There is no staged moment. It's just a couple in their car, 3 kids asleep in the back, hail hammering the windscreen like bullets. 2.1 The first signs, purple on the radar. As they caravanned eastward, Christine and her husband, David Woolley, were watching the same weather alerts pop up on their phones. David noticed purple splotches on his weather radar, something he immediately recognized as potential tornado signatures. Purple means rotation. Purple means wind shear. Purple means don't mess around. He brought it to Christine's attention, the two of them exchanging the kind of look parents share when something goes from odd to dangerous. 2.2 The radio alerts begin. In Mykelti and Tony's car, the first rail warning came from the emergency broadcast system. A loud, jarring alert interrupted their radio station, announcing severe weather, hail, and dangerous wind conditions. The message advised drivers to seek shelter, not exactly an option in the middle of rural highway stretches where exits were few and far between. 2.3 The sky turns. Footage from Mykelti's recording shows the sky shifting from gray to an eerie green. Anyone familiar with storm-prone states knows that color, the unmistakable signal of hail and possible tornado formation. Tony, focused on the road, tried to stay calm. Mykelti, recording from the passenger seat, zoomed in on the cloud formation overhead. "This looks bad," she said. Hail began to ping their car. Then ping harder. Then smash. 2.4 We're in a tornado. We're in a tornado. It takes a lot to make Mykelti panic, growing up on television, navigating a complex plural family, and weathering multiple public controversies thickened her skin. But this moment broke through the armor. She called Christine and David. We're in a tornado. We're in a tornado. Her voice had the kind of panic that only hits when instinct overrides logic. Christine tried to stay calm, urging them to keep moving, keep talking, and keep assessing the road ahead. 2.5 Hail becomes a physical threat. The hail, originally marble-sized, suddenly grew larger, quarter-sized, then golf ball-sized. That's the kind of hail that destroys crops, shatters glass, injures animals, and seriously damages vehicles. Tony's voice, while level, carried tension. The hail's getting bigger. Then came the moment that hit viewers hardest. Mykelti shouted, "Oh, it dented the window, Tony. Get off the highway. It's denting the windows. There's broken glass." The footage shows real fear. Not dramatized. Not produced. It is not edited for effect. Just raw human panic. 3. The family response, tracking, coaching, and worrying from a distance. Christine and David were not in the same car, but they might as well have been. The couple tracked radar apps obsessively, watched the storm evolve, and kept up constant communication. 3.1 David takes control. David Woolley, a man known for calm pragmatism, a stark contrast to Kody Brown's emotionally impulsive tendencies, immediately turned into the steady voice of reason. He checked NOAA updates. He cross-referenced wind patterns. He followed storm chaser reports online. Christine relied heavily on his composure. She later explained, David could see what they were headed toward. He saw it in real time. 3.2 Christine's dual emotions, fear and guilt. For Christine, the moment brought a rush of layered emotions. Fear for her daughter and grandchildren. Panic at being unable to do anything physically. Guilt for encouraging the move across the country. She felt a profound pain as she recalled the frequent instances of danger or instability the Brown kids faced during their childhood. Her voice cracked during the episode when she said, "The mama bear in me just wanted to be there." 3.3 The children in the back seat. Though not heavily featured in the footage, the presence of the kids added another heartbreaking dimension. Avalon, Archer, and baby Ace were strapped into their car seats, unaware of the risk outside. Every parent watching felt that lump-in-the-throat realization. If this car is damaged? If the storm intensifies, what would happen? If the road becomes unsafe? There were no easy choices. 4. Staying on the move, why they didn't pull over. One of the biggest questions viewers asked immediately on social media was, why didn't they pull over? The answer comes down to 3 factors. 4.1 Tornado Safety Protocol. Contrary to instinct, pulling over on a flat, open highway during tornado-forming weather is extremely dangerous. Wind can flip cars or toss debris at vehicles sitting still. Emergency services often advise, when in doubt, keep moving and get out of the storm's path. 4.2 They were in a dead zone. This section of the highway had no overpasses, no shelters, no structures, sparse exits. Stopping on an empty stretch would have left them completely exposed. 4.3 Hail deals more damage when stationary. A moving car can sometimes reduce hail impact by preventing direct vertical hits to the windscreen and roof. Stopping would have turned the vehicle into a stationary target. This context matters because Tony's instinct to keep going, though frightening, aligned with what storm experts usually recommend. 5. The vehicle damage, more serious than it looked. The episode shows dents in the windscreen, cracks forming, and Mykelti shouting as glass breaks inward. But the damage extended beyond that. 5.1 Front windscreen spidering. The front windscreen began developing web-like fractures. Impact points suggested hailstones approximately 1.75 inches or larger. 5.2 Roof dents. Later images revealed dozens of dents dotting the roof like crater marks. 5.3 Side window stress cracks. Multiple side windows showed stress fractures, not fully broken, but 1 or 2 good strikes away from shattering. 5.4 Long-term structural impact. Vehicle experts later noted, the car may need roof repair or replacement. Seal integrity could be compromised. Driving in rain could now cause leaks. Within context, it's clear the couple narrowly avoided far worse. 6. Navigating out of danger and reaching safety. Eventually, the hail eased. The sky lightened. The wind shifted. And the storm cell moved southwest. Tony guided the car forward gradually until they reached clearer conditions. 6.1 Debris on the road. Branches, shredded limbs, and bits of metal debris littered parts of the road ahead. The road ahead was littered with evidence of the storm's destructive path. 6.2 The emotional crash afterwards. Once safe, the adrenaline wore off. The tone in the car shifted from frantic alertness to quiet shock. Tony cracked a few relieved jokes. Mykelti took deep breaths and checked her kids repeatedly. This moment, though brief, was intensely human. 7. Why this episode resonated so strongly with viewers. This sequence became one of the most discussed sister-wives moments in months, and not just because of the danger. 7.1 It showed real vulnerability. The Browns have spent years navigating scripted drama, endless conflicts, and emotional manipulation. But this episode was unscripted, raw, and undeniably real. 7.2 It highlighted the new family divide. The contrast was impossible to ignore. Christine and David immediately stepped in. Tony and Mykelti turned to them instinctively. Kody Brown was nowhere in sight. Robyn's household was completely uninvolved. The old family hierarchy has quietly been replaced. This tornado moment made that shift visible. 7.3 It showed Tony in a new light. Fans used to poke fun at Tony's early appearances, awkward jokes, gaming references, enthusiasm for nachos. But during the storm, he was steady. Focused. Calm. Protective. Decisive. It marked the beginning of a new chapter in his public image. 8. Symbolism, a storm that mirrors the Brown family's upheaval. You don't need to stretch very far to see the metaphor here. A family is leaving Utah. Driving through chaos. Navigating dangerous winds. Trying to move toward a steadier future. All while the past looms behind them like swirling clouds. The Browns have spent years living inside emotional storms. This physical storm almost felt like the universe throwing their past at them one last time. Christine later said, "It felt like the storm was trying to chase them down." And in many ways, that's true. The Brown family's history continues to chase each of them in different ways. 9. Christine's reflections, relief, pride, and a mother's fear. After the incident, Christine expressed a mix of emotions. Tremendous relief. Gratitude that her daughter and grandchildren were unharmed. Admiration for Tony's calm. A mother's lingering fear. And it is with overwhelming pride that Mykelti is carving out her own life. Christine has spent years breaking free of fear of disappointing the family, fear of upsetting polygamous tradition, and fear of losing security. Now, she watches her daughter take bold steps for her family. The tornado scare only reinforced Christine's belief that moving away was the right call. 10. Mykelti and Tony's future in North Carolina. Despite the rocky journey, Mykelti and Tony eventually reached their destination, North Carolina, land of sprawling farms, tight-knit communities, and a fresh start for a young family looking to build something stable. 10.1 Living near Meri. The kids now play together regularly. Their families take joint outings. And a stronger support system has emerged. 10.2 Support from Janelle. Janelle, now splitting time between Utah and her new property in North Carolina, plays a major positive role in their daily lives. 10.3 A different kind of Brown family future. This branch of the Brown family, not Kody's, not Robyn's, not the old structure, is evolving into something healthier, calmer, and more functional. The tornado may have threatened their car, but the move itself is rescuing their future. 11. Final thoughts, a narrow escape and a powerful turning point. The tornado sequence was more than a dramatic TV moment. It was a turning point, not just in a literal sense, but symbolically. This was a young family breaking away from old patterns. A dangerous moment shows their resilience. A test of Tony and Mykelti's partnership. A reminder of Christine's new life and new support system. A visual metaphor for the shifting structure of the sister wives universe. The hailstorm was real. The fear was real. The damage was real. And the emotional weight behind the move was real. When the storm finally passed and the Padrones emerged into clearer skies, they weren't just driving out of a tornado. They were driving into a new chapter, one defined not by the chaotic plural marriage they grew up in, but by the steady, self-directed life they are building for themselves. And after watching that episode, viewers could feel it. This family has been through emotional storms before. But this time, they chose their own direction, and kept driving.